Good evening, Prescott Valley, and welcome to another Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Kathy, can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Gummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Trevini?
Here.
Commissioner Fallman?
Here.
Commissioner Brinkman?
Here.
Commissioner Polican?
Here.
And Vice Chairperson Avalos?
Here. Can I get an approval for today's agenda meetings?
I'd make a motion to approve the agenda as written with the notation there will be a work study entry down below.
I'll second.
Can I get approval for May 8th, 2018 regular meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the May 8th, 2018 regular meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Brian here for some announcements.
Yes, sir. Woo, that one's good, isn't it? All right. Well, before I make those announcements, I'd like to give a little shout out to, I hate to admit to this, my fan base that I have out there. It's been rather enlightening from going out into the community and the number of people that have come up to me and said, hey, you're out of your sling. That's awesome. I hope you're doing better. And it's like, wow, this is cool. So thank everyone for their good well wishes and those kinds of things and doing that. So greatly appreciate it. So, and it happened to be none of you either. So that's good. So I'm telling you, people are watching. Keep on your toes. We got cool stuff and they're excited to hear from us. So speaking of that cool stuff, this Friday, June 15th, our Movies Under the Stars will kick off at 7:45 with the showing of Peter Rabbit, brought to you by 89A Dental Care, your highway to a healthier smile. So visit with us out here at the Civic Center at the lawn of Theater on the Green. And again, that's this Friday, 7:45 for the showing of Peter Rabbit. Following that on Saturday, which happens to be this weekend, is Father's Day weekend, we're going to have a special concert featuring the Desert Cats. This will be held also at Theater on the Green here at Civic Center. The show starts at 7 p.m. There is free admission, and a food vendor will be on site for all of your hungry and thirsty needs. So come out and enjoy the tunes of the Desert Cats. Saturday, June 16th, Theater on the Green, starting at 7 p.m. Next, believe it or not, we're already preparing for fall softball. It's going to be $270 per team. Registration opens up June 18th and will run until July 22nd or as filled. Our divisions will be co-ed D1 and 2 and 3. They will be played on Mondays starting August 13th. Men's D1, 2, and 3 will be played on Friday starting August 17th. And men's and co-ed games will be played at 6, 7, 8, and 9 p.m. There will be a mandatory managers meeting after you have registered. This will be held for those managers and teams on Thursday, August 9th, 7 p.m. in the Civic Center, room 331. You will receive that information again after you have concluded your registration. So please put on your calendar fall softball in Prescott Valley. Registration opens June 18th and will remain so until July 22nd or until full. And also, swim lessons for Session 3 will be opening June 22nd, 8 a.m. in person or at noon online. And that is at the Prescott Valley website. You'll just be able to click directly on that link for registrations and find the programs and services that you're interested in. These are $43 per session for your swim lessons. Discounts are available for additional siblings within that same swim lesson period. Multiple times are available throughout the day to fit your busy schedule. If you have any questions, feel free to give the buzz or a shout out to the pool at 775-3165. Please do not call Buzz himself. All righty? Okay.
Right back to you.
Yeah, right back. Yep, there you go. All right. So with that being said, those are our announcements for this evening. Vice Chair Avalos.
If I could, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of the swim lessons and such, I went today to my grandson's swim lessons, and I was amazed at the outstanding staff. Your lifeguard staff is unbelievable with the kids. They have kids that are the first time in the water. They were crying and fussing, and of course the parents are running. But the lifeguard staff, super cool, made the kids feel comfortable. Some of the kids actually got in the water that were scared to even put a foot in there. Your staff was unbelievable for these young kids that are in our high schools and our things. Just excellent with kids and parents, because of course us parents have that tendency to get in there and tell them how to be a lifeguard.
Sure.
But they did. They were just so professional and just outstanding staff, and I hope you relay that to Brady and his staff.
I definitely will, and thank you for that.
Very good,
So,
very good staff.
yes. Some of our own staff, their children are growing, and so they're also enrolled in swim lessons, and so we're getting some of that internally
Sure.
from our customers and doing those kinds of things. So I appreciate those accolades in doing that. As you know, Brady was here a time or two. He announced that, we had some significant turnover in our guards, and that's just because they were reaching that age. They've graduated for college, or they're moving to college and doing those types of things, and new blood was coming in. So to be able to have those accolades, knowing that we have a wonderful transition and growth within our program, that's great.
Very
great
good.
to hear. Excellent. All right.
For that, Buzz, any other questions, comments? Okay, moving along to the department update, we'll go with the director's report.
Yes, just some added comments in regards to my report and the department's report as a whole. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. I wanted to thank those members of our community, our partners, as well as the commission for being able to come out and attend the ribbon cutting ceremony over at the Boys and Girls Club, and that expansion that's going to be taking place there with the new gymnasium, followed then by a remodel of our current building that's there. I just can't say enough in regards to our community partners that are out there. More importantly, Gerald Sostak, who I know you have met. He's come out here and giving you some background and information on his involvement in the community and the various different things that we do out there. But it has been a phenomenal process to date in working with them and having things underway. So, again, thank everyone for coming out for the ribbon cutting ceremony. We're turning dirt. A variety of different things have happened over there. We're working our way with all of the underground processes, as well as then getting all of our flat work done, predominantly concrete, in this case, well before the monsoon season, so it's just not a sloppy mess out there. I still, to date, have not heard any update in the schedule as it relates to the steel. So that would be erecting that skeletal work, if you will, for that building. So once I have a little bit more of that date, I'll share that with you. And doing those types of things, but it is well underway. So we're very excited about that and getting it moving forward. I also wanted to thank those commissioners as well as our sponsors that were able to come out for Arbor Day. I had a ton of fun out there, not me personally, but everyone that was involved. I appreciate the accolades that were shared in regards to staff and their interaction with our public out there, as well as our attending young people. They made a nice showing out there, and tons of fun. Lions Club being available to come out and help with all of those types of good things. So thank you for that. Also, working with our Friends Foundation group, they're underway and in discussions and development for fundraising as it relates to American Legion Park, and the one item that still is out there, and that is the Ramada elements. So they're working with a variety of different vendors, trying to get the best prices possible, and then from there, understanding all the dynamics that go into that, they'll begin their process of fundraising as well as in-kind support and donations towards that program and going on out there. Doing those few things. I also received word that our intergovernmental agreement with the Arizona Game and Fish Department for the community fishing program is coming to full fruition, as the Attorney General has given their feedback to the Arizona Game and Fish Department for finalization of that agreement. So once we have that, it will soon be placed. Matter of fact, I'm hoping it's scheduled for this June 28th council meeting. So once we hit that schedule, we'll be well underway and moving right into the next fiscal year, and the community fishing program being 100% on board. So things are going well there. In addition, attended a telephonic Arizona State Parks grant workshop, so there might be some future grant opportunities for us coming through that process. So as those become more readily available, I'll be able to share that at future commission meetings in regards to our advancement for grant monies. And then last but not least, I did want to highlight a couple of our aquatics things. We had 8 school groups before the school year let out, equating to 1,200 youngsters that were in attendance this year. So that was one heck of a nice little boost right at the end of the school year. And in addition to that, every Saturday in the month of June has been booked with private pool rentals. So that's a new record for us going into this fiscal year. So very excited. So kind of echoes a little more sentiment to what Buzz was relating in regards to swim lessons. That whole aquatics portfolio was really snapping to attention out there. And finally, last but least, I know many of you know Robert Kiernan, also known as Bobby, to our programs and services that we had here. Bobby has taken an advancement position. He's now at the library, and he is the manager of library services for the town of Prescott Valley. So he's still on the team, just on a different department. So
Just upstairs.
just up and over, kind of, yeah.
Well, right here.
Yeah. We kicked him out of one building, and he found a home in another. So, but no, very happy for him, as with all staff. Moving up the ladder, that's a very, very good thing.
I think all of us would like to congratulate him, and he has just done an outstanding job in many aspects through several years, at times when things were a lot leaner. And so, you know, I'm personally impressed with his work, and I'm glad to see him moving up here as manager. One of my other volunteer groups were over here quite a bit, so I'll probably get a chance to see him. But for Parks and Rec, he has done just a great job for a number of years. So
Yes.
Congratulations to him, and glad he's still here.
I agree. I'm glad we didn't lose him. He's still part of the overall team, so he'll be a good colleague to work with on other joint activities and doing those things. So, with that being said, that's my little highlights of the department report. I'm happy to answer any questions the commission may have on my specific or the department's report as a whole.
I was looking at the statistics, and everything's looking really great. I mean, the revenues, you just seem to be doing really good so far here.
I agree. I hope that the month of June pans out extremely well for us. I know it definitely has been in our aquatics. So if we continue our trending, I think that we'll definitely reach some of our goals that we're looking for in doing these types of things. So in some areas we're far exceeding, others we're coming up just a little bit short. And if we are short, there's very explainable reasons for as of why, whether it be discontinued of services, a long-time renter is no longer part of that because they've been able to find their permanent home, a variety of different things. So it'll be very easy then to wrap up into our end-of-year report that the commission provides to the town council in that September timeframe. So, no, I'm highly concurring with you when we're 89.8% completed in the fiscal year for paid attendance. We're already at 130% of our sponsored attendance of what was projected for the year, 108% in total overall between the two combined. Those are some pretty significant numbers, and revenue of 106 as well. We still have an entire month to go.
I think when we look at how good these numbers are, to me, it just shows the high quality of staff that you have in the department that's going out and doing the work to put this together.
Well,
and it's really great that that's happening.
I agree with that. I think that's a portion of the equation. The other thing that I really appreciate is the engagement of the community. They comment, they respond, they give feedback, they're asking for, they're looking for, they're volunteering for. They're doing all those types of things. It's just we can't stand out there with our little sign or wave our flag and say, come on over. No, the community's engaging. They're looking for. And I think through also our support and sponsorship of our other community partners that we work with, that helps also make that those numbers reflect exactly where we're at today. So I think it's very exciting in doing those things.
I did have one question, though. The gallons used is still looking really great, but we've just gone through months and months of above average temperatures with no rain. Is this still, and of course we were just talking about Robert.
Yes.
Who initiated the control systems for the
I'm sorry, that's Nick.
Nick. Oh,
Nick, yes,
that's right.
yes.
Nick did
Yep.
that.
Our other
thinking
smiling face. The rest of them are grumpy, but those two always smile. No, I'm just easy.
But our numbers still look really good.
They do. Yes, you'll see at the end of the year, unfortunately, they will be very skewed in doing that. We had some months that during the winter where we typically never have our irrigation systems on or operating. We've had to manually go back in, do all the work we needed to run the system, just so we didn't have off-season kill. So we've done those things, but yes, we're managing it as tight as we possibly can, but at the same time, we don't want to be the cause of issue. So. And it's a fine line to be able to do some of those things. And some folks would go, well, I can take you here and you can look at this, this, and this. With all systems, we're going to have some failure within those systems, especially now. It's a very hard thing to be able to manage. We've all experienced some of those extremely high winds that we've been having here lately. That skews that water distribution as it's going out. So, some sections are not getting the amounts that they need on the ground because they're being blown elsewhere, doing those types of things. So it is going to occur. We're going to have some brownouts. We're going to have this, but we're staying on top of it as best we possibly can. With all of those things, we're altering schedule run times because of programs, events, and services. That has some impact as well, too. But that's part of what we do.
Yeah.
And so that is what we're working for and trying to make everything as good as we possibly can. In this case, green is a nice thing.
Yeah, it is. And, we've always been interested in water conservation. We've looked at that in all of our projects. So, it looks to me like really you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
So, Brian, I have a question. Ron touched on one of them on this Parks and Rec monthly report about the gallons used, so thanks for answering that question. There's one number on here especially that jumps off the page, and that's under the participation category.
Okay.
Under athletics participation, so from May of 17 to May of 18, the percentage of change is showing is 737%. That's pretty significant. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes.
Number? Why is that so high?
That is reflective of some new tournaments that came into town that we've not had within that particular reporting period. So if you recall, during the month of April, we had a little bit of shift, some of our youth soccer tournaments. We also had some adult soccer tournaments that was brand new. They actually came out of Flagstaff and spent some time with us. And I believe we had some, don't quote me on this, we had some additional softball tournaments come in as well. So it's going to drive some of those numbers. I will specifically go back in there and answer those for you because, the percentage-wise, it's pretty significant. Number-wise, it is too. We jumped from 432 to 3,616. But I will get back in there and find those specific numbers for you as indices of why the jump.
Well, that's great information because not only is that helping, the Parks and Rec and the usage, but also all those folks coming into town who are purchasing through all the retail stores and restaurants and outlets here is also generating nice tax revenue for the town as well. So that's
Correct.
kind of a win-win all the way around.
Yes. More folks in the hotel, going out to the restaurants, enjoying the movie theaters, going to the grocery store, going to the gas pump, all of those things have replenishing benefits. So we really appreciate those things.
Well, keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input, Commissioners. Do we have any more questions for Brian? Seeing that there's none, thank you for that report, Brian. Moving along to the chairperson's report. Unfortunately, Commissioner Fair can't be here today, so we will be moving past that to the Tree Advisory Board business. Also another chairperson report. We will move forward. Does anybody have any questions?
With that, I'll be happy to give, on behalf of Commissioner Freyer, actually a portion, a very small portion. I apologize for this, his chairperson report. And that ultimately is Commissioner Freyer and we've completed the Arizona Community Foundation grant application that was done in concert with the Over the Hill Gang for the walking path trail there at the west end of Fain Lake. So if you remember that crossing footbridge that was installed earlier this year, all of the records, reporting, and commentary has been turned in to the foundation. So that's completed that project in full. Back to the forestry element, staff is underway of completing the final reports to be turned into their grant. We've completed all aspects of that. The very nice part is that on behalf of Commissioner Freyer, through a grant application to Arizona Public Service, we were able to be the benefactors of a $1,000 tree grant this year. So that is part of our forestry efforts. As you know, with this being a portion of our 40th anniversary, that's contributing to that program. This grant specifically was planning for 21 trees, so 50% of that process. We've already planted numerous trees, and I apologize, I don't know the number, but ultimately we've hit our 50 goal. And if I know Commissioner Polican was at the drive-in movie night, so he saw a lot of those new trees that surround the event center parking lot that are lining Glassford Hill. So we're well underway. We're going to exceed, and we've challenged ourselves to say, who needs 40? Let's go for 80 and see what we can do. But we've got great community partners that are part of this, but we're fulfilling those grant obligations, and we're 100% going to hit the mark with that and complete those final reports.
More oxygen around for everybody.
Tree City, baby.
Those additions
That's
that are made on Gloucester and Florentine there, those are going to be beautiful in the next coming years. It's going to be a great addition to the city. So
very much.
I
And
don't think it's a known fact that the town had anything to do with those planting of those trees. So I think it's a good thing that we're involved, and that's good to be planted in that fashion.
Yeah. We wanted to make sure the connective of that corridor, and therefore we've matched across the street to the best of our abilities in doing those. So, yes, I agree with you. We've got sub-story trees with other trees that will mature, and so we'll have a nice undulating process and good color and all kinds of good things. So.
Anything else? Moving right along to old business. We have our 2018-2019 meeting calendar. This is requiring some action.
It does. What we've presented to you last month was a tentative schedule for review for adoption this evening. I believe everything was reflected upon in regards to matching what our traditional calendar of operation has been, in which we've historically taken the months of July and December off. July just for a little summer recess, December in lieu of the holidays and a variety of different special events that are going on or being supported by the department and the town, as well as your actions and activities in those. So with that being said, we have a 10-month calendar, I do believe, ready for your review and adoption for the 2018-2019 fiscal year.
This is the same calendar we've used for many years, so I think we discussed it briefly before, and I would make a motion to approve the 2018-2019 meeting calendar with the 10 meetings as we reviewed.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Brinkman. Any other questions?
No.
Marks? Moving on to additional business, election of officers.
Yes, on an annual basis in preparation for the new fiscal year, the Commission undergoes a process in which it elects new officers. And this year, Commissioner Freyer feels that he has met his obligation in the maximum number of terms in serving as chair for 2 consecutive terms, which I'm not going to argue with him about. I think he's spot on and has done a very admirable job in doing such. He will no longer be available for that position in this next calendar year in doing such and completing those aspects. So therefore, the Commission will need to elect a secretary, a vice chair, as well as a chair for those eligible positions. Secretary will work with the department director in regards to any outgoing correspondence needed to be addressed by the Commission, as well as receiving such. The vice chair will fill in the role of the chair in case of their absence, and then the chair will be responsible for not only the conduct of business operations at each one of the prescribed regular business meetings and work studies, but then also will serve as the chair of the tree committee in doing that. And most typically those 3 positions, as well as a community member, also serve with the tree advisory committee. So we are in need of nominations and elections for those 3 positions for fiscal year 18-19. So, with your permission, I would recommend we start with secretary and move our way up the ranks, or we can do a reverse roll and start at the top and work our way through. Your call.
Floor is open for nominations. For secretary?
I would like to nominate Brett for secretary. He's already been there, continuing on with his duties. I know sometimes he has a little trouble with his work and making the meetings, but most of the time he's here, and I think he would be a fabulous secretary as a liaison.
Brett.
As we continue, I'd just like to make a quick comment that I think we have a really outstanding commission, and that virtually anybody here could fill any of the positions. The problem that some of our commissioners have is time. They have jobs. Yeah, I hate to use that word as a retired person. They have jobs and obligations with family that are a little bit more so. But with that, I think anybody could fill these jobs. Let's see, you were the secretary before. Would you be interested in this? Okay. Maybe instead of just going from like secretary, and how about jumping to vice chair? And I would nominate Brett for the vice chair position.
Okay.
Okay.
I can second that.
Okay, so I have Ron and Dan seconding that. Do you accept that nomination?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
And I think we probably all would agree on that.
Want to put it to a vote?
You
Yeah.
want to put it to a vote?
Put it to a vote.
All in favor?
Kathy, can we have a roll call in regards to that vote, pretty please?
Okay. Commissioner Gummer
Yes.
and Commissioner Trevini,
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman,
Yes.
Commissioner Brinkman,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Vavelos,
Yes.
and Commissioner Polikin.
Yes.
Very good. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right. Well, would we like to continue working up the ladder then?
I think, if we select a chairperson, that it just makes it easier to
Sure.
finish it out. And now, I've been on here for a while. I've worked with Buzz as chair. I know he does an outstanding job.
I'm sorry about that.
No. Me too.
Kevin, I don't know what your time frame would be, but, the chair does need to.
You can't?
Can't, no.
And that's okay.
Business commitments like.
Sure.
Okay.
And we all understand. People
Buzz,
work,
would you
people
be
have jobs.
Would you be interested?
Would you be interested?
I think either one of us.
I,
would be,
I,
and-
You can have them duel it out right here.
like you
I
say,
don't think we need to
Let me
do
back
it.
up
I think we're equally capable. So
Well, I was going to say, if it's going to be the duel of past chairs, well, let's just have Elaine just jump right in there too then.
Royal Rumble.
Well, and then the other question is does our current vice chair
Yeah, Danny, you want to
have any of those types of interests?
I feel like I'm kind of in that position of other commitments that might
jobs.
Conflict?
conflict with the position as well,
Okay.
which I would like to leave it open to someone that's readily more available.
Buzz, you want to do it again?
And that's one thing we need to consider is a chair is someone maybe retired or that can usually make the meetings because we all understand work. We all understand we have commitments.
Definitely.
And it is very difficult for guys that are still working to commit to being here for the time we need.
And as Ron knows, as Buzz knows, as Elaine knows, there's always Brian on the other end saying, hey, can you meet? Can you talk? What's your recommendations? What's your advice? Can you meet with this person? Can you talk to that person? So I think it's very admirable, very, very respectful in regards to what Danny and what Kevin is reflecting here in regards to what their allowances are. And I think that's a very smart person making those
And we
comments.
appreciate it as the commission also. We appreciate the honesty.
Yes.
Instead of.
Well, I'm going to recommend that Buzz Gummer be chair, and we'll have a vote for that, please. Anybody second
you
it?
accept that?
He's accepted it.
Sure.
I will second that.
Okay.
Vote before he changes.
Can we take it to a vote with the roll call, Kathy?
Vice Chairperson Avalos,
Yes.
Commissioner Polikin,
Yes.
Commissioner Brinkman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman,
Yes.
Commissioner Trevini,
Yes.
and Commissioner Gummer.
No.
I want you to understand that was not a joke because I feel the same way as he does. Okay, so no, it's going to be a good thing. So
Oh, yes, that's a
yeah.
good thing.
Well, congratulations. Now we have one more. Secretary.
I think we might as well come back with Ron Brinkman as our secretary, and he's a wonderful liaison between commission, Brian, information for all of us. He was always a part of the Tree City meetings and things, and I think there could be a lot of Ron helping us out on this as a secretary.
Sure.
Second.
Ron, are you accepting of your nomination?
Sure.
Okay, very good.
Shall we take it to a vote?
Yes.
Kathy, please.
Commissioner Gummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Trevini,
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman,
Yes.
Commissioner Polikin,
Yes.
Attaboy.
Vice Chairperson Avalos,
Yes.
and Commissioner Brinkman.
Yes.
All right. Well, congratulations, Commission. I think you've done well. So we will have, as our president incoming at our August 2018 meeting, Buzz Gummer for president, Brett Polikin for vice chair, and Ron Brinkman for secretary. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Congratulations. We'll be moving on to our 9th agenda, new business. Brian?
Yes, sir. Well, things are looking quite well for our upcoming fiscal year 2018-2019. That budget will be soon adopted by council. Some of those items I wanted to highlight as it relates to capital projects and equipment that are slated for accomplishment in the next fiscal year. Of course, as we've been discussing over the course of several months, and I mentioned earlier tonight, on June 28th, I'm expecting to be able to present the intergovernmental agreement with the Arizona Game and Fish Department. That'll be a brand new program. That'll be a 5-year commitment for a community fishing opportunity here, which will help enhance and drive much higher numbers of fish, both in catfish and trout, for everyone's enjoyment in working with those. So as greater details through the development agreement come forth, we'll present that program as it reflects here in Prescott Valley. In addition to that, we'll be working on some proposal items and guidelines as it relates to the Park and Recreation Department's master plan. That'll be a 2-year program that we'll be going through. So the crux of everything that we're going to be doing on the front end will take us in that direction moving forward in its future in regards to how we go about selecting the most qualified candidate for the development of that program, which will take us down the road for the next 5 to 10 years. And it'll have quite a few elements engaging the community, administration, staff, councils, commissions, the entire works. So that'll be one of those items that we'll be working towards. Also in doing that, as you know, special events are a large part of what our department does. There'll be some 40th anniversary planning in there and a line item budgeted specifically for that. Some bad news. Our department is no longer responsible for the public ice skating program over at the event center. That's actually transferring directly to the event center. So they're going to handle that day-to-day operations and that season schedule. So just FYI from a commission, why are we not hearing reports? Why are our numbers changing in the next fiscal year? Why are the reports not reflecting such? That is exactly why. Okay? From a capital technology aspect, Miss Kathy beat me about the head and shoulders and demanded that she would not let me out of the office until she had a new copier as part of her program of operations. So that will be coming forth because I cannot incur any additional injuries. So that is what we're going to be having moving forward. So yes, physically you can intimidate me. Yes, that's where we're at with things. As far as capital equipment goes, as part of the expansion there at the Boys and Girls Club, we're going to be bringing some new volleyball equipment over there. So we'll be adding that to the arsenal of operation. In our Parks Maintenance Division, we're going to be procuring a new athletic field painter, an athletic field groomer, a utility tractor, some scoreboards at Mountain Valley Park in the fourplex. Right now we've had 2 for a number of years. We're going to get 2 more and make that complete. We're also looking at the Summit Trail connector with the city of Prescott off of Glassford Hill. We're also looking at Mountain Valley Park's parking lot and a little bit of a fog seal treatment out there, crack seal, and restriping the parking lots there. And then also some playground equipment over at Quailwood. And ultimately that's going to reflect new swings. Okay, we are going to be removing some of the existing work or equipment that's there. That's going to be found in those boulders, those climbing boulders. They're basically reaching their useful period of life, and so we're basically going to replace that. We're going to go in the direction of swings. Okay. In addition to that, George Anderson Park will be receiving a new playground. Mountain Valley Park will receive some playground improvements there. And then over at Granville Park off of Glassford Hill and Santa Fe Loop, once the developer has completed that project, we will then follow with the installation of a new ramada, possibly some pickleball courts, and also a very important item that we'll need to discuss, and that is a new playground over there and some of those elements that will be coming forth. So beyond that, also in the next fiscal year is the Boys and Girls Club gym expansion as well too. So that's going to be rather big doing those things. So all in all, it's a very substantial and aggressive capital program in this next fiscal year. But those were some of the highlights that we're working towards that I think the community is going to be very excited about and have some very, very good benefits coming from such. So with that being said, one of the items that is on your agenda tonight, and I apologize, Vice Chair Avalos, for jumping the gun, but one just kind of leads to another. If you wouldn't mind, staff would request a work study for calendarization of some of these particular elements that the Commission can review, discuss, give their review and recommendations, as well as also begin some planning. Currently, we do have the month of July off for regular business meetings, but if it's permissible, we would recommend that on Tuesday, July the 10th, meeting at 5:30 over at the Civic Center for work study discussions and review. Staff would greatly appreciate that and request that could be an action item that would require a motion, a second, and a vote.
I'd like to make a motion for the addition of a work study development meeting scheduled for July the 10th at 5:30.
Second.
Okay.
And it goes.
Okay. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Look forward to it. So we'll
Brian, real quick, you mentioned the Summit Trail Connector. We don't have state approval yet, do we?
No, we do not. We're just planning so that if the trigger does get pulled for that, we're not sitting around and waiting for another fiscal year to come to be able to make those acquisitions.
Great.
This is pretty much exactly in light of our strategies during our first procurement of properties for Summit Trail itself. So this will be that nice, neat, connective corridor there. And that is our side of that boundary line. I prefer not to look at boundaries, but in this case I have to, and that's what we're looking at.
Sure.
Okay?
I'm not too familiar with that. Is that the connecting trail on the very top of that trail, or is
Yes.
it around the base of it?
If you're making that last leg to the summit and it's starting to make that curve, and if you recall when we did our site visits and things, we came up the back way.
Okay.
It's almost right at that junction point that we would then make that right-hand turn and start directing ourselves to the defined route that would connect then with the city of Prescott.
Is there a particular place where it would connect to in the Prescott?
It's connecting actually to new trail systems that they're underway on non-state land right now that they're doing, as well as then they're going through the same application process with us to acquire their portion of those state lands as well too.
I had the drawing for that, but
And yes, if that wasn't a prior exhibit, I can easily get that to you so that you do understand what that routing is. Okay. So super. I'll look forward to seeing everybody in July.
Anything else, Commissioners?
Yes, I would like to just say that our past chair, Pat Frere, was a wonderful chair. I think we could all be proud of him for everything he's accomplished as a chair. He's gone above and beyond what's asked of a chair with his working with the trails and helping with grants and funding and tree commissions and everything else. And I wish he was here tonight, but he's got some family commitments. But I just think we want to let him know just how proud we are of everything he's done as a chair. He's going to, like I said, above and beyond what's required of a chairperson.
yeah, he's done an outstanding job.
We could make a motion that the commission gives thanks for his leadership.
As long as that doesn't involve sending Kathy after him, it should be fine.
I make that motion. Second, anyone?
Second, sure.
Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Very well said. Moving on to unscheduled public appearances. If there are none, we will move forward to our next meeting of July 10th, 5:30 at the Civic Center. Can I get a motion? No motion needed. Moving on to our next regular meeting, August 14th, Tuesday, 2018, 6:30 at the auditorium. May I have a motion?
No, we don't need one.
We do not need one. I like those, I do. All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll
second it. I'll third it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Prescott Valley. We'll see you in our next meeting.